All right, wholesale weekly update number 23. I don't have a lot to report this week. This week was a lot of full-time daddy duty and doggy daycare duty that was going on. So not too much to report this week. A couple of the deals that we had in the pipeline. I've been in communication with a handful of sellers that I've sent out contracts to. Still kind of got nothing back from them. Don't feel that they were fully deals, but different states. One of them was a dude named Tyrone. Another one was Tim. Another one was Zelier. Still reaching back out to them constantly, trying to see what's going on. Might need to do a hero call or something of that nature with those. Can't get those to come all the way through. Georgia deal that I have that's going on, that is smooth sailing. Everything seems perfect within that. That should be closed and funded sometime next week. I'm hoping either Monday or Tuesday. So we're excited about that one. Everything seems to be panning out pretty well with that. We'll see what happens on that, but everything looks like green light, ready to go. I'm excited for them to get where they're trying to go, because I think this is the first step that they need so they can get over to wherever they're getting to so they can be with their grandkids. So that's awesome. I'm excited for that to take place. Some conversations I had this week. I turned on property leads just for a little bit, just to see if I can get some in. One of the conversations was a dud. Dude literally said, I'm literally just filling out the form because it keeps popping up on my screen. It says you will give the highest offer, which that's not usually the case in this. And that's the problem with property leads sometimes, is that, the ads that they are probably pushing out are more tailored towards getting people that are just raising their hand looking to sell. This dude was looking to sell probably in March, looking for retail, and he just wanted to know what the ads were about. He kind of thought it was a scam. So he reached out to it and we had a conversation. I was like, yeah, those ads can be misleading. We pay for ads. We don't know exactly what's going out in front of you. This is what it is. This is probably where someone would be. We had a little bit of a conversation. I understood his story and what was going on, but it's not an investor option. He's wanting a retail transaction at the end of the day. So that was an interesting conversation. Another one was a Louisiana property. This one is a deal to me in my eyes. She went through the process. There's a whole backstory that's going on with it. It's a probate situation. Mother died years ago. She's had it. She's rehabbed this property. Its market value is like $545,000. So she's asking for $400,000. I was like, that there seems like a deal there. She says it was appraised for something in the 800 to 900s. We did some more digging. We saw that there was a listing history and stuff, and that, it wasn't moving for like the 700, 800 range that she was kind of saying that it was probably worth. It honestly wasn't moving in the 600 to 500 range, like mid 500. So I was kind of confused on that. It felt like the listing was tainted. There was a large story that was behind it, because she's not the only person. It's gone through probate. She's the executor, but her nephew is also a part of this transaction. And the nephew, they don't like each other, and everything that she's trying to do to get it sold, he's kind of going against it. He's even lawyered up and has had some pushback against her. There's been a cash offer that was presented for her. It was definitely 100% innovation. His lawyer didn't like the contract that was presented. They asked to change it, and I don't think that they're going to end up being able to change it because they don't want to list it. He doesn't want to deal with the real estate agent either. So the executor, her daughter's a real estate agent, would be willing to list it for her, but the nephew doesn't want to do it. So I kind of just laid out her options for her. I was like, hey, let me push this to my buddy Claude, because he is the person that would buy if it's deep enough. Let me see what he's kind of saying on the property. Let's get an idea. The comps in the area are not accurate depiction, but this is like a lot of land with 3 different properties that are sitting on it. So there's so much value add that could be done within there. It's on the bayou in Louisiana. It's close to Lafayette. It's a good property, and it seems like she's already put some money into it, but the hindrance right now is the nephew. And I told her, I was like, listen, if I sent you a contract now for the 400, I promise you the nephew's lawyer is going to rip it apart. That's what they're paid to do, is to find some sort of inconsistencies. They're getting paid to do that. I said, this would be a wholesale transaction. I would find the buyer for you. But it seems like you're bleeding. You don't want to deal with these payments anymore. The nephew's not dealing with anything. I said, this is your option. I could be an option, but I can assure you that lawyer's not going to fly with this. And the nephew's not going to fly with this. So she's at a point where she's potentially going to take him to court to where she gets full ownership. She even said something along the lines of like the house that the nephew's living in, she's paid for that and she has a lien against the property and she's about to foreclose on him. It's a whole slew of situation. She's definitely a motivated seller. She's down for any kind of transaction because she's tired of putting money into this thing. We just got to figure out how we can solve it. I might try to end up sending a contract to her and just let the lawyers rip it apart and let them know what's happening. I think a lot of the conversations she's had, no one's been transparent, and that's something that I'm really trying to make sure that I do on my calls, because I just don't, mainly because of the Georgia deal, I don't like how that transpired. And I know that we can be a solution in that aspect. So I'd rather just have the conversation up front. Listen, these are your options. This is what I can do. I'd be willing to put this in front of people and get this done for you, and try to get this taken care of so this problem is away from you. So we'll see what happens with that. Not going to be like too much of my time going into that, because I think there's too many moving parts, and I'm not even positive that it's a deal. But with the appraisal value that she said and based off the number she's trying to get, I think there might be something there. So we'll play around with it for a little bit longer, then kind of go through. Other than that, no real deals are underway. I don't have anything else under contract. Next week, I'm going to try to turn on my lead sources a little bit more consistently. I did not turn on Red Panda this week, mainly because I had so many interruptions with kids that were coming in and out. So next week, Red Panda is 100% getting turned on. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to have, I think these leads are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be a little bit more motivated because of the way that the ads, the way Nick explained them, the way the ads are pushed out to them. They're going to probably be a little bit more distressed. And I'm doing role plays every single morning. I'm constantly improving my skills. So I'm excited to have conversations with these people, dig deep for motivation, understand their situation, and show them how we could be a solution and getting them across the finish line. Couple other things that happened this week were, I had a conversation with Steve, who's in TU. He's doing this full time. We had kind of like a little heart to heart. I like seeing people that are doing this business and like really going after this. Like, they're not dabbling in it. They're like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to put food on my table. So we had a cool little conversation one-on-one, probably about 30, 45 minutes. Awesome dude. Glad I had that connection. Also reached out to David, who's in TU. David, he's just a funny dude. Like, seriously, like every single time he talks, it feels like it's a joke, just because like his humor is just so funny, but he's also super intelligent. I think the humor could push it aside. Anyway, David, he's just locking up contract after contract after contract. I went and reached out to him on Facebook. I was like, hey man, are these deals, or like, are you just kind of locking things up? And he gave his little funny spiel of how he does things. But the approach that he's taking, I think it's beneficial. I think he's definitely making sure he's staying close enough to the web that it's happening. But I mean, whatever he's doing, it's working. It's cool to see that, because he's still pretty new and still pretty fresh, but like, he's one of those people that are grinding, putting in the energy and effort. He's logical and intelligent. So like, he's systematically approaching it. He told me his process, and I thought it was cool. Like, most of his leads are coming from my speed to lead, it seems like, and he's crushing it. So like, I always like to see the people that are doing it, putting it out there and putting themselves out there and showing what they're doing. I love to have those conversations, be like, man, where's my missing pin? Not that I'm like deviating from whatever my strategy is, but it's just cool to see whatever other people are doing who are seeing success. Other than that, the last thing that I kind of contemplated this week, I had a conversation during our little role play hours about creating a shared leads list. So a lot of us are using PPL providers. We're getting leads from LeadZolo, from Property Leads, from iSpeed to Lead, from Red Panda, just different sources, especially inside of Titanium University. I thought it would be cool. I'm sure most of us in our CRM have leads that are just sitting there that are probably closable, and maybe we messed it up. We did something wrong in the conversation. It is someone that is motivated. It is someone that is truly is raising their hand to sell, but there was something about the conversation that was off. There was something about the offer and the way it was presented that might have been off, that if someone else called this lead, that this could still be a closable deal. So one thing I thought about doing was creating a shared lead list, just in Excel and like a Google Sheets, get it to people that we know that are active in this business and that are like buying leads, that can provide leads, not just like cherry picking and pulling from someone else. It's not for necessarily the brand new person, but someone that has built up a little bit of a pipeline of things inside of their CRM where there's things that they can push to other people. Each person would have their own individual tab. You could go into someone else's tab, start to call their leads. You would log that inside of that sheet so they can see it. If someone closes someone else's lead, then the lead owner would get 20% of that, while the person that closed it, if they JV or however they decide to attack the operational side of things, they would get their own percentage from closing the deal. Instead of just like us constantly spending money on PPL, it's a way for us to take these same leads that are interjected inside our CRM. We're all kind of calling the same leads anyway. Why not just have a list of all the leads with people that we trust and call through? And then where I couldn't close one, maybe someone else could. And where someone else couldn't close somebody, maybe I could. So just a food for thought. I'm still kind of, brainstorming at what that looks like, how it would look like. But I think that would be an awesome thing if you had a handful of people that we trusted that could be a part of this. And, we could just like share upon each other's leads and still be making money and not wasting so much money on some of these leads that we're purchasing daily. So just food for thought. We'll see what happens. Other than that, good week. Got to spend a lot of time with the kids. I love that. Summer is ending. School is starting back next Tuesday, and we are hitting the ground running at that point in time. So remember, as always, stay happy, hungry, and humble, and I'll see you next week.